I've got to believe that they're in on Kreider, Chris Kreider from the Rangers.
Yeah.
I've got to believe
What's the price going to be there?
It's going to be a first-round pick, a prospect, and some other piece. And some other piece could be a player. It could be a lower-level prospect. It could be a lower-level draft pick. And there might be a conditional pick in there, too, that if you re-sign him.
And Kreider's a free agent to be.
He's free agent to be. And
so that's a high price.
He's sort of the number one guy. Absolutely, it's a high price. I got to believe the Boston Bruins are interested in Kreider. I've got to believe the Colorado Avalanche are interested. I believe the New York Islanders have interest. Wow. I don't know what kind of premium the New York Islanders would have to pay to get a deal done with the New York Rangers. I think it would have to be a lot. Because I think if you're the Rangers, the notion of Kreider coming in as an Islander, I don't know. I'm just not sure about that. The Washington Capitals, I believe, have shown some interest in Chris Kreider. And I think the St. Louis Blues have had interest, although General Manager Doug Armstrong said after the Scandella deal yesterday that it wouldn't surprise him if that was the last deal they made before the deadline.
So many teams interested, it seems likely that one of those teams would eventually meet the price that the Rangers?
I would think so.
You think? Okay.
I would absolutely think so. There, and now keep in mind, teams like Boston and Colorado, what we've seen here is you've got your rentals, and there's a big price for them. But when we saw New Jersey trade Blake Coleman in that deal, you saw where teams are saying it would be really good if we could get a guy who's got term left. Mm-hmm. And so there are guys like that out there. So now the question I would ask is, would New Jersey do the same thing with Kyle Palmieri that they just did with Blake Coleman? Very similar in terms of the offensive output, almost identical.
And how much does Tom Fitzgerald have to play with? Is he the general manager?
He's fully the general manager. You know, that Coleman deal was a big deal. The Andy Green deal was a big deal. He doesn't want to trade Palmieri. Like, he's not sitting there saying, I got to trade Kyle Palmieri. Because the way Fitzgerald looks at it, he wants to get more younger guys in that are in the same age range as Jack Hughes to Nico Hischier. So anywhere from 18 to 24, 25. Mm-hmm. And then those guys all grow old together. So he wants to surround more young talent around Hughes and Hischier. You know, Palmieri's a good player. And in order to let that group develop, Tom Fitzgerald might say, we need to have some men on the team. That is, older guys that have some stiffness to their game. And so that's why he's not eager to trade Palmieri. But as soon as he got the first-round pick and Nolan Foote from Tampa, he said, I got to trade Coleman, even though he's got a year left and he's a real valuable guy. And the same thing could happen if he gets the right offer for a high pick and a really good prospect. Palmieri could go out the door. Sammy Vatanen is a rental. He'll likely be traded, although he's injured right now. He's probably a week, maybe more, from coming back. And Wayne Simmons. Vancouver's interested in Wayne Simmons. So he's another possibility. So New Jersey could still be very busy. So to answer your question, Jonesy, yeah, they've fully given Fitzy the keys to the team bus.
And Vancouver's a great example of a team that did enough this year to, as a team, impress their general manager. And due to injury, there's some availability, right? There's some opportunity. So Simmons will replace Ferland, right?
Yeah, see,
he's been so bad all year, has he not?
Better lately.
Simmons,
better lately.
Yeah, he'd been better lately. Tyler Toffoli comes in and basically replaces Brock Besser, who's done for the rest of the regular season. If they can make the playoffs and Besser comes back, and then you have Toffoli on top of that, that's great. Ferland is done for the year and with concussion problems. And so, yeah, they're looking at Simmons as an option to fill that.
Well, they're not really thinking Stanley Cup now, right? They're thinking maybe we can get a run in here. A run both. Is important to their team.
Making the playoffs is really important to them because they went out and got Tyler Myers in the offseason. They made the JT Miller trade a couple of years ago. They went out and paid heavily, overpaid in term and money for guys like Beagle and Roussel to bolster the bottom half of their roster. And now they've got the kids in Pettersson, Besser, and Hughes that they believe are the foundational building blocks. So now they're aggressively trying to push this past the rebuild stage into let's make the playoffs, let's make some noise and see what happens.